The Yogi Adityanath government today brought out bulldozers in an upscale housing society of Noida on the borders of India's capital. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. On the program today, we are looking at the curious case of a man called Shrikant Tyagi. Now, this was not a man that you and I had probably heard about till a couple of days ago, when a viral video showed him, also a resident of the same society, abusing, threatening, and pushing a female a female resident of the same housing society who accused him of illegal constructions and encroachment. Subsequently, he went on the run, he absconded. The police made several appeals to try and find him and said anyone who had information should report that. But he was so brazen that he then sent in his men late last night to actually threaten the female complainant. Since then, of course, the bulldozers have been ordered in. This is a man who described himself as affiliated to the BJP. The party denied it. The opposition then released several images of this gentleman posing with flowers next to a slew of BJP leaders. Decoding what has happened in this Noida housing society, who is Shrikant Tyagi, and Yogi Adityanath's use of bulldozers now on the borders of Delhi's capital. Let's introduce our panel on the program today. Joining us on the program from the Congress party is Sujata, the spokesperson with the Congress. Welcome to the program, Sujata. Also joining us on the program is veteran police officer Dr. Vikram Singh. He's been Director General of Police in Uttar Pradesh. Namaskar, sir. Ashwini Shahi, senior leader of the BJP, also the party spokesperson from UP, joining us. And also joining us, senior advocate and commentator Sanjoy. Ghose, great to see all of you. Let me start by reminding those parts of our audience who may not have seen what this man Tyagi actually did, playing out a little clip of how he threatens and abuses this lady, who then takes up the fight and really brings it to this point. Listen it.
दो गोली के गाड़ देंगे तू पेड़ उखाड़ देगी यहाँ ये मेरी प्राइवेसी से किसने कहा अरे हमने खरीदी है भाई पूरी ये है पूरी तुम मालिक है यहाँ की तो जा वहाँ चल इसे लेके यहाँ से वरना राजवीर से ध्यान रखना तुम चली जाएगी वैसे भी इलाज करके यहाँ से चल कुछ अगर पाएगी तो चल यहाँ से आपको
So absolutely boorish, threatening behavior made worse by the fact that this man who's absconding from the law sends his goons in late Sunday night. We have those images as well, who then come and threaten this lady who actually takes him on. And subsequently, of course, all of these men have been arrested. And then, like I said, bulldozers have been brought in. Shrikant Tyagi called himself someone associated with the BJP. The party distanced themselves from it. And Mr. Adityanath did not hesitate to use bulldozers today. He's often called Bulldozer Baba for his contentious use of bulldozers in instrument of crime control against Shrikant Tyagi's encroachments as well. Let me start with you, Ashwini ji. What is the message the BJP is sending? आपने भी देखा होगा कि जो कांग्रेस के नेता हैं, उन्होंने काफी तस्वीरें रिलीज की. वो तस्वीरें हमारे पास भी हैं. उन तस्वीरों में आप देख सकते हैं कि ये जो श्रीकांत त्यागी है, ये कोलाज है. वो अलग अलग नेताओं, बीजेपी के अलग अलग नेता हैं, उनके साथ खड़े हैं. बीजेपी कहती है भाई ये हमारा आदमी नहीं है. और आज उनकी इंक्रोचमेंट्स पे बुलडोजर चढ़े हैं. आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे अश्विनी जी?
पाखा जी, देखिए, इसमें बीजेपी ने जो कहा है, बीजेपी के बड़े नेताओं ने आकर बताया है कि ये हमारा एक फार्म का भी सदस्य नहीं है, मेंबर नहीं है. हाँ, फोटो है, उसकी फोटो आई है. फोटो खिंचाने से कोई बीजेपी का नेता नहीं हो जाता. अब उसके लिए कहीं ना कहीं किसी को बताना पड़ेगा. बीजेपी ने ये भी बताया है कि ये आए हैं और किसी के साथ आए होंगे. उसमें देखिए हर जगह गुलदस्ता देते हुए फोटो है. तो गुलदस्ता नेताओं की जीत पर, नेताओं के आगमन पर कोई जाकर दे देता है. कोई जरूरी नहीं कि सभी बीजेपी नेता ही हो. दूसरी बात, मेरा ये कहना है कि यहाँ पर अगर आरोप और प्रत्यारोप की बात करें तो इसमें कहा जा रहा है स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य जी का भी चेला है ये. 2012 में नोएडा में एक शादी में इनके लोगों ने एक फायरिंग की थी, 2012 में उस पर मुकदमा भी सेक्टर 24 थाने में दर्ज हुआ था, उस पर भी 2012 से 17 तक सपा की सरकार रही, अगर भाजपा का नेता था तो क्यों नहीं कार्रवाई की। लेकिन इन सबके इतर उस व्यक्ति ने एक दुस्साहस किया, गलत एक औरत के ऊपर हाथ उठाना, गाली देना, ये निंदनीय घटना है। इसको उत्तर प्रदेश की योगी सरकार ने बहुत ही गंभीरता से लेते हुए आज उनके यहाँ गिरफ्तारी तो उनकी होगी, वो अलग विषय है। उनके अवैध जो अतिक्रमण थे बिल्डिंग में, ऊपर नीचे बुलडोजर चलाकर तोड़ दिया गया है। बाबा बुलडोजर की जो एक यूएसपी बन चुकी है, वो यूएसपी अब अगर मान लीजिए, मैं मानता भी हूं कि चलिए विपक्ष कह रहा भारतीय जनता पार्टी का वो नेता है, तो बुलडोजर तो चल गया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी जीरो टॉलरेंस पर काम कर रही है, चाहे भारतीय जनता पार्टी का नेता हो या किसी विपक्षी दल का नेता हो। कोई अपराधी को कहीं भी छूट देने की गुंजाइश नहीं है इस सरकार में। गिरफ्तार करने के बाद 1 से 2 दिन के अंदर गिरफ्तार हो जाएगा। जहां तक लग रहा है हमारी पुलिस फोर्स जो है बहुत तेजी से लगी हुई है, कहीं होंगे उनको निकाल कर ले आएंगे।
जी,
घटना
तो
गलत हुई है
और आप कह रहे हैं कि बीजेपी के साथ जुड़ा भी हो ये व्यक्ति, तो आपकी सरकार ने दिखाया कि बुलडोजर्स सबके लिए इवन हैंडेड एक ट्रीटमेंट है, आपका ये आर्ग्यूमेंट है?
जी, मैं ये कहता हूं कि एक तो ये है नहीं, लेकिन अगर मान लेते हैं कि जुड़ा भी है तो हम लोगों ने कोई भी पार्शियलिटी कहीं नहीं करनी है। अपराधी को अपराधी की तरह ट्रीट करके उनके साथ वही व्यवहार होगा जो एक अपराधी के साथ होता है, चाहे वो विपक्ष का हो या सत्ता पक्ष का हो।
ओके, सुजाता, लेट मी ब्रिंग यू इन एट दिस पॉइंट। आप ही की पार्टी के नेताओं ने ये तस्वीरें पहली दिखाई। इट वाज बीवी श्रीनिवास who put it on Twitter, a whole collage of photographs of this man who was absconding from the law and showing how he's presenting flowers to a variety of BJP leaders. Now that Mr. Adityanath's administration has brought out bulldozers, whether you agree or disagree with bulldozers as an instrument of law enforcement, does your argument get weakened? Because it's quite clear that whether he is or isn't with the BJP isn't protecting him.
Fact of the matter is that this is a person who is quite a powerful person. Do you think it's so easy for us to go and meet leaders like Mr. JP Nadda or the President of India, Mr. Ramnath Kovind, and present him with flowers? ये तो बहुत ही flower है, मतलब fire कहीं और था और flower ये बांट रहा था. Now the point is, if this person has been, giving out a wrong message by saying that he's the national executive member, Bharatiya Janata Party Kisan Morcha, national coordinator, Yuva Kisan Samiti, Bharatiya Janata Party Kisan Morcha, what was the BJP doing till now? But let me tell you one more thing, Barkha, that if you look at all these people in the BJP or the RSS, every time they get caught, the BJP and RSS has had a history of saying that these people are not members. And I'm going to start from the first Atankwadi of India, Nathuram Godse, who these people said was not a member of the RSS after he assassinated Mahatma Gandhi. तो ये तो बहुत ही छोटी सी मामूली सी मूली है, इसको तो कभी भी उखाड़ के फेंक देंगे.
But aren't you mixing up too many things?
Not at all.
By invoking Godse when we are talking about a housing society quarrel with a goon who self-identifies with the BJP, but whose encroachments have been bulldozed. Like, aren't you mixing up issues here, Sujata?
Not at all. Not at all. You know, Barkha, what I'm trying to say is that every time somebody gets caught, and this is an issue which is related to a woman and the manner in which a woman was being treated by Shrikant Tyagi. So obviously the BJP is on the back foot, and the BJP has to disassociate themselves from this person. But look at what they're doing. You know, I am reminded of Vikas Dubey. Every time somebody needs to be brought to justice, bulldozers are brought in and उस बंदे का खात्मा कर दिया जाता है, so that that person will never come to justice. We will never come to know the truth, and that is the reason why these bulldozers are out.
Okay, now Shrikant Tyagi, through his lawyer, has submitted an application in court saying that he is going to surrender. The NOIDA police has announced a 25,000 rupee award for any information on him. I want to bring in Mr. Vikram Singh. The UP police was under fire for how he got away. The fact that while he was absconding, his goons were able to come in and threaten this lady, whom he clearly pushes. It's abuse, actually. It's assault. He's pushing her. He's abusing her. He's threatening her. And he is so unafraid till today, till this morning, he's so unafraid that he's able to send in goons in the cover of the night. And the police has to then, women police officers of the UP police then come on camera and appeal for any information on him. Mr. Singh, your thoughts on all that has transpired?
Correct observations, Barkha, and I have my very, very serious reservations about the police response. There is no doubt that Shrikant is a street fighter and a bully of the worst kind. The security that he got at government cost is again a question. Under what circumstances did he get government security at government cost? The government security is for those who are law-abiding, not for goons, riffraffs, and criminals. The poor response time of the police also is a question mark. If it can happen in the NCR, what about other places? And this is after repeated requests, repeated pleas to the control room and to the local police station. They did not wake up. Barkha, I would like to tell you that a complicit security of the society itself, who saw and allowed the grass to grow underneath their feet and allowed him to evolve into a Bahubali, again a question mark. Every police station in the country has two specific registers: bad livelihood cases, register that is known as the activist, people like him who are on the process of evolving into full-scale mafias, and they are put under surveillance and scanner. Obviously, all this was not done, and he was allowed to do what he did. Again, Mahesh Chand Sharma, the member of parliament of Noida, ultimately had to threaten that unless the police comes and intervenes, he will go on a hunger strike, and then the police reacted. He does not have to have a member of parliament of the ruling party to threaten agitation before the police reacts. The police should have not nipped him in the bud. Make no mistake, he should have been crushed in the bud.
What has been the police's biggest failing in this case, handling of this case so far, according to you, sir?
Number one, the police allowed him to grow the size that he has become to. His wings should have been clipped 2 years ago when he was evolving into a bully. Number two, kept under surveillance. Should not have allowed the security to be given to him. And then all this gundaism happened and not intervening in proper time, displaying a poor response time. These are the 5 infirmities of the policing that I see as of now.
And the fact, of course, that while he imagined his impunity, that while he was on the run from the law, he was able to send in his goons, his mafia, as you called it, Vikram Singh, strong words there against the police response. Sanjoy, I want to bring you in on a point of law. You have often been critical, as so many of us have, of Yogi Adityanath using bulldozers where the process of law should apply. He has also been criticized of using these against Muslims, the poor. Today, he has used them against somebody called the BJP leader. A BJP MP, Mahesh Sharma, has had to go there and say, I feel ashamed. Those were Mr. Sharma's words, that what has happened and the fact that he's on the run. As a critic of Mr. Adityanath's methods, do you criticize what happened this morning when bulldozers ran over Shrikant Tyagi's encroachments? Sanjoy?
Of course I do. Am I audible, Barkha?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. So, as they say, that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Let's understand this, that, it goes back to that Kasab biryani thing, that, this thing was made that we are so soft on accused, on criminals, without realizing that, I'm just digressing for just 1 second, this Kasab biryani thing, that a person who attacked us, the greatest enemy of our state, who waged war in India, we extended the rule of law to that person. We don't realize that when we do that, what we do is we enhance international respectability of our judicial system.
Okay, we've lost you, Sanjoy. I think your line is not the best. We've lost.
Yeah,
sorry. Sanjoy, your line isn't working. Let me bring in Vikram Singh on this point of the bulldozers before I go back to the others. Mr. Singh, as a law officer, are you comfortable with the fact that eventually bulldozers have been deployed here?
Barkha, the police arsenal has bulldozers, AK-47s, Lee Enfield Mark IV rifles, but for legitimate and legal use, not illegitimate, whimsical, inappropriate, disproportionate use. If the bulldozer is used to clear encroachments that are blatantly illegal, as in this case, I strongly recommend the use of bulldozers and I commend. But this sudden late blossoming, I say late blossoming, I also am not able to understand those officers who were complicit, whether of the Noida authority, of the police department. What action has been taken till now? None. And this is where the problem arises, that you choose to behave like a boys' club and not take action where you should have taken.
आई थिंक दो वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग वर्ड्स। और अश्विनी जी, मैं आपको इसमें लाना चाहती हूँ कि अगर आप विक्रम सिंह की बात सुने तो उनको लगता है कि यूपी पुलिस ने शुरू से अंत तक जो एक रिस्पॉन्स होना चाहिए था वो नहीं हुआ। इस पे आप क्या टिप्पणी देंगे? आपकी अपने पार्टी की जो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट है महेश शर्मा, उन्होंने कहा उनको वो आज एक तरह से अशेम्ड फील करते हैं। आप क्या बोलेंगे अश्विनी जी?
देखिए, महेश जी का वो निर्वाचन क्षेत्र है और वहाँ के वो लोग हैं, उसको एक वो परिवार समझते हैं। वहां पर कोई दुर्घटना ऐसी घटी है, किसी के द्वारा आपराधिक कृत्य किया गया है और पुलिस ने तुरंत कार्रवाई अगर नहीं किया है तो उस पर उन्होंने शर्म जताया है। और वो देखिए अभी बात करते हुए दिख रहे हैं कि वो अवनीश अवस्थी जी से बात कर रहे हैं और काफी व्यथित भी लग रहे हैं। तो इससे ये प्रतीत होता है कि पुलिस ने समय पर कार्रवाई नहीं की। तो अभी फिलहाल पहला लक्ष्य जो है उसको पकड़ कर ले आना है, उसके घर को बुलडोज कर दिया गया है। दूसरी चीज जब होगी इसके बाद कि किसका दोष था इसमें, क्यों, काहे, कैसे, ये सारी चीजों का जवाब एक साथ उसके बाद लिया जाएगा कि कौन अफसर फेल हुआ, क्यों फेल हुआ, किसने उसको बचाया। क्योंकि 24 घंटे में रिपोर्ट मांगी गई है जिसने उसको सुरक्षा दी थी, जिस सरकारी अफसर ने, क्योंकि वहां पर एसपी और डीएम और सबका जो है वो लगता है किसने सरकारी सुरक्षा दी, सुरक्षा के उस पर भी सवाल उठा है। 24 घंटे में माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने मंगाया है कि कैसे सुरक्षा दी गई, किसने दी, और स्पष्ट आदेश हुआ है या उसके पीछे कोई अधिकारी होगा उसको बचा रहा होगा या कोई नेता बचा रहा होगा, उसके ऊपर भी कार्रवाई की जाएगी। कोई किसी को छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा, इसके पीछे हाथ लगाने वालों को छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा। जी बरका।
Sanjoy, I'm going to try once more to see if we can actually hear you, and then I'll go to Sujata and Vikram Singh for last comments. Sanjoy, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm so sorry I got disconnected. What I was trying to say is that the fundamental concept is rule of law is notice and hearing. Even the worst offenders require to be given that access to the rule of law. And here I have no sympathy for this person who has behaved in the most obnoxious manner. But let us understand that it is here that the real system is tested. And so therefore, while the BJP has shown, the government has shown that they are even-handed, if that's the message, but they are being even-handed in violating the rule of law, and it is no succor for those who actually believe in constitutional governance and justice.
But Sanjoy, what should have happened? This man ran away. Vikram Singh has already been very scathing about the response of the police. Given that he'd run away, what should the police have done? The administration brought in bulldozers.
Well, there are two. There are two aspects. The police is different. That's where we confuse concepts. You have the municipal authorities and you have the police. It's not the police's business going around bulldozing places. Police are there for investigation, crime prevention, and crime control, and law and order. Now, so far as illegal constructions and encroachments are concerned, it is the responsibility of the planning and municipal authorities. They issue notice, they seal the construction, they follow the legal procedure. That is what is done when you have to do deal with sealing. Specifically, the law has provided an exception when there is an encroachment of a public street or tank or some kind of sewer, etc., which is not the case here. This was a private society. So here, even within the private society, there's no public street, as I understand, subject to correction. The other residents who were cheering this demolition has happened, the BJP has established that they are even-handed in violating the rule of law for everyone. Well, at first blush, it may look nice. It blunts the criticism of the opposition. But again, without being partisan in the matter, just being a lover of the constitution, it really brings no cheer, Barkha.
Okay, so Sujata, would you say that it has blunted your criticism to some degree? If you look at these images and you look at the fact that the residents applauded as those bulldozers rammed through the encroachments of Shrikant Tyagi, and remember that was the exact fight, the basis on which he was abusing this female resident of the society. Has it in a way taken the wind out of the sails of the opposition politics, notwithstanding the constitutional principles that Sanjoy, of course, is importantly reminding us of here? Sujata, quickly, and then Vikram Singh can come in.
It has certainly not blunted our criticism. Let us be very clear on one fact, that the Congress party has always upheld the Constitution of India. When we talk about what is happening in this society, what are we trying to say? What are we trying to send across as a message? And just because everybody is applauding doesn't mean that you go and stand with the wrong. Even if you are alone, stand for what is right. That is what the Congress party teaches. Now, when you talk about this gentleman running away, he is not a gentleman at any cost, of course. But how did he run away? For 3 days he's been absconding. What happened to the police? How was he given security? It is because the Bharatiya Janata Party has been trying to protect him. The Bharatiya Janata Party thought that maybe that, if we are able to get this matter suppressed, it'll be all right. But when they saw that it was getting blown out of proportion, they had to take action. That is the reason why they've done this bulldozer tactic. One last point, Barkha. Now tell me, if he has committed a crime, there were 5 cases against him. 1 case apparently was registered by his wife, 2 cases by women. So in this particular case, I want to know, what is the government doing? Was the government sleeping? And was his wife, if he has any children, are they also responsible for the crime that he has committed? Are you going to punish everybody for the crime that this man has committed? Bring him to justice by all means, but definitely do not punish his family.
Okay. Let me, before Mr. Singh has to leave slightly earlier, so I'll allow him to make his last comment now and then come to you, Ashwini ji. Vikram ji, please go ahead.
Barkha, I would say, may I suggest, please, that as the learned advocate has mentioned, that it's not the job of the police to use the bulldozer. Oh.
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Oh, if you can hear me, okay, Barkha. Yeah. It is the job of the police to see the rule of law. The Police Act of 1861 and other provisions of the CRPC empower for maintenance of public order and right of passage. And right of passage, the bulldozer and clearings can be done by the police. And I'm sure, I would not doubt for a moment that in this case, they may have been caught on the wrong foot maybe 2 days ago. But when they use the bulldozer, I'm sure the documentation and the priorities would have been set right. And to the contrary, they have been able to salvage some of the lost prestige. But that is just a small part of the story. I would have been very happy if this encroachment did not come. And again, my advice to them would be to get the RWAs, to get the police, and also the NOIDA authority to identify every such encroachment and then give the same treatment. Otherwise, selective treatment again does not do any good to us.
Okay, Mr. Singh, we let go. I know you had to leave a little bit early. Ashwini ji, let's bring you in on what Sujata has said. Ashwini ji, go ahead.
बरखा जी, देखिए, सुजाता जी कांग्रेस की नेता है और ये उस पार्टी की नेता है जिस पार्टी में हवाई जहाज को अपहरण करने वालों को टिकट दिया जाता है और प्रश्रय दिया जाता है। आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी का वो नेता नहीं है, फिर भी उसके घर पर बुलडोजर चलाया गया। आज किस तरीके से कंडम कर रही है, किस तरीके से उस चीज को कह रही है। ये बचाव नहीं हम लोग करते हैं किसी का, हम लोग टिकट नहीं दे रहे हैं उसको, हम लोग उसके घर को जो उसने अवैध बनाया है, जिसके जो विवाद की जड़ है, उसको मिटाने का काम कर रहे हैं और उसके बाद उसके ऊपर गैंगस्टर लगाकर उसको पकड़ने का काम कर रहे हैं। हम लोग वो काम नहीं करते हैं जिसका पूर्व राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष 420 और 120 बी के मामले में जमानत पर हो और उसके लिए प्रोटेस्ट किया जाए, रेल रोका जाए, कार फूका जाए बंगलोर में, वो हम काम नहीं कर रहे हैं। हम वो काम नहीं कर रहे हैं। हम करते रहिए।
तड़ी पार आपका नेता है, भूलिए मत इस बात को कि आपका नेता तड़ी पार है। बरी क्यों हुए? बरी इसलिए हुए क्योंकि उनके खिलाफ कोई सबूत नहीं मिला, उनके खिलाफ कोई सबूत नहीं मिला। अरे आज आपका समय है, इसका मतलब आप हर चीज का दुरुपयोग कर रहे हैं, आप दुरुपयोग कर रहे हैं। आपका नेता कानून में विश्वास नहीं करता, आपका नेता।
Okay, I'm going to briefly mute both of you because I promise you I'm so unused to shouting on my shows that I literally don't know how to respond anymore. Please, both of you will get a free chance to speak. एक आपसे दोनों से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप एक एक करके बोलिए, एक एक मिनट के लिए। अश्विनी जी, मैं आपसे बोलती हूँ, आपने उदाहरण दिए गांधीज के और आपने कहा ये पार्टीज उनको डिफेंड करती है, लेकिन लखीमपुर खेरी भी आपको याद दिलाया जा सकता है। हर पार्टी में जैसे कहते हैं केसेस एंड क्रिमिनलाइजेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स, वो एक अलग डिबेट है। मैं आपसे पूछती हूँ, अगर इस केस पे अगर आप गौर करें तो आपने विक्रम सिंह जी की बात सुनी कि इन दिस केस हाउ डिड ही गेट टू द पॉइंट कि वो कल रात तक गुंडे भेज रहे थे, इसकी क्या कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए अश्विनी जी?
हो गया, वो सारे पकड़े गए और उनके ऊपर गैंगस्टर की कार्रवाई हो रही है। बरखा जी, कार्रवाई में कहीं कोई कमी नहीं है, वो सब पकड़े गए हैं और सबको आज कोर्ट ने जो है जेल भेज दिया सीधा। देखिए, आप दिखा भी रही हैं, वही सब ये है गुंडे। ये मैं किसी का जो है कोई भारतीय जनता पार्टी किसी भी गुंडे के साथ नहीं खड़ी है। कानून अपना काम करेगा, पुलिस अपना काम करेगी, और सरकार का जो काम है इनको पकड़कर जेल के पीछे डालना, अतिक्रमण जो किया था, जो जड़ का, वो उसको तोड़ना, वो सरकार कर रही है काम। हम लोग किसी को डिफेंड नहीं कर रहे हैं। मैंने सिर्फ इसलिए बोला था बरखा जी कि जो लोग डिफेंड करते हैं, यानी कि जो मैंने पहले बात कहा कि जब जहाज जो है अपहरण किया करने वालों को टिकट दिया गया, मैं एक एग्जांपल दे रहा था कि यहाँ पर वो बात नहीं है। जेल जाने वाला अपराधी जेल जाएगा और जो नहीं होगा उसको कुछ नहीं होगा, और यहाँ सारे अपराधी पकड़े जा रहे हैं बस। जी
ओके, एक मिनट। अब ना सुजाता, अब नेशनल हेराल्ड का शो अलग करेंगे, उस पर अलग बातचीत होगी। इस केस पे मैं वापस आना चाहती हूँ जो आपने पहले रेज किया, आपने कहा उनके परिवार को मत पनिश कीजिए। प्लीज इलैबोरेट ऑन व्हाट यू मीन बाय दैट।
What I mean is that, one very important question that is coming into my mind is that this fellow escapes from there in spite of the fact that the video goes viral. Secondly, there are, he's absconding for 3 days, and this Bulldozer Baba, so-called, says that koi hamare yahan se bhag nahi sakta, koi badmash hai usse hum ekdam pakad lete hain. Why is it that 3 days have passed and they have not been able to nab him? Third point, when you have there must be security around the place looking for Shrikant Tyagi, around that society. How come there were these goons who entered the premises? That means they allowed all these things to happen. They are watching everything, but they are allowing it because they want some kind of photo ops. They want some kind of videos, because that's how this government works. You know that, Barkha. My point is that if this fellow has absconded, what is the police doing? Why are they not being able to nab him? Has he escaped Uttar Pradesh? And the last point, when I talk about his wife or children, are they also to be punished? And if encroachments are to be removed, how come this is the time when, without any, you always give a notice if there are encroachments, to remove the encroachments from houses? And if this is the case, was that happening? So the rule of law should be maintained, but this is all, to cover up something that these people want to hide. That means the BJP, they know that this person is linked to them.
Okay. Now we've heard both the BJP and the Congress. Sanjoy, I'm giving you the last word. Here's the point. We are dealing with a situation where there will be wide public approval for what happened in this housing society. Certainly the residents were clapping as the bulldozers came in. This is something that lawmakers have had to contend with. Let's remember, lawmakers are political people in the end. When they sense vast popularity for something, very few of them will still then not want to use that instrument. What happens now? Because bulldozers have clearly entered the mainstream as a way to manage law and order.
Well, this is the danger, Barkha. I mean, you remember that what happened with regard to rape, and there was this clamor for death penalty and public approval for legislating death penalty. And I compliment the Rajasthan Chief Minister for actually, talking about the elephant in the room, that the moment you make death penalty for rape, it results not only in further endangering the victim, but as feminists have been saying, it makes the judges hesitant to even give the mandatory punishments. So therefore, a society has to be very, very cautious. We have seen, history has seen over time in different countries and continents where people have actually widespread appreciated very draconian steps and even giving up and surrendering liberty and rules of law. And ultimately, those societies have paid a very heavy price for doing so. So today, if we are going to have justice, and one last word, so therefore the test should be not how fast the bulldozers come, but how fast these cases are disposed in court and actual punishment is given in accordance with law. So we should focus on tweaking that system and ensuring speedy justice, which is sadly not happening, which is why people are forced. You can't blame the people. That's why people are forced to go for this bulldozer justice, because it's an instant kind of result.
We will have to leave it there. Sorry, we're out of time. Sujata, Paul, Ashwini, Shahi, and Sanjoy, Ghose, and earlier to Vikram Singh. The bottom line, of course, is that we wait for this goon, and he is a goon. He's abused and assaulted a woman to be produced in court, and then we wait for the process of law to actually deliver justice in a meaningful way, so that this man, Mr. Shrikant Tyagi, thinks 100 times before he actually threatens and lifts his finger on a woman the next time. Thank you very much to our audience. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo's Story and support independent, robust journalism.